Beautiful, divine masculine and feminine darlings. This is the Seraphim Gem Gypsy, SeraFae Indigo Empress, and Shiloh Horizon. I don't plan to be here for too long, but I do have a little reading to do and some channels to share. So first and foremost, I heard Honeypot. What a honeypot is, there were two references. There's a reference, really three. Container where honey is kept, obviously, like a honey jar. 522. Or a honey trap is also a term that's used when dating sites are used to gain access to a victim. It says that private investigators are often employed to create honeypot accounts by wives, husbands, and other partners, usually when an illicit or romantic affair is suspected of the target or subject of the investigation. So let's say a wife suspects her husband of cheating. Oh, I saw that. Okay. Got another download. Wife suspects her husband of cheating, so she'll hire a private investigator to make a fake account on a dating site just to see if this private investigator, through this fake account, can get the husband to agree to cheat, just to show that that's what he's doing. Obviously, that's not what's going to happen because it's a fake account and the private investigator's behind it. But the husband, the goal is for the husband not to know that and for him to expose himself as a cheater, that the wife expected him to be, to the point of hiring a private investigator to confirm. So that's one. There's also a reference of honeypots in cybercrime, or they're usually, the terminology is honey trap, in fact. I'm going to make some tea in a minute too, so let's plug this in. A human honeypot is a person or thing that acts as a lure or a decoy in a trap, a scam, or a scheme. So the example sentence is, I thought my money was safe, but the other investors were all honeypots who were lying about their profits. So I actually got two separate downloads. Hold on. In this case, okay, there's that. Thank you. This says that honey trapping is also used to get a new drug abuser or user addicted to illegal drugs, and then also for drug smuggling. It's entrapment, some sort of entrapment. But anyway, so as far as the Ponzi scheme thing goes, because that's what that actually plays into, it says, I thought my money was safe, but all the other investors were honeypots. So let's say that there's a so-called company that's claiming that they just need investors, and that if they have a bit more money, they'll be able to make back so much more profit and then pay the investors, and they'll all get paid. And maybe there are people that are claiming that they already invested in the company, and so they're vouching for the company, and they're saying, look, I invested too, so you should invest, and then we'll all invest together and make so much money back. Except for what the new investor doesn't know is that the so-called prior investors aren't actually investors at all. They're just more people who are in the company trying to scam people into investing in it. And the thing about that is it's often not even a company at all. It's often a front for one. It's just the appearance of a company, kind of like laundering money, really. Except for instead of trying to wash the money through laundering, these people are trying to claim that they have a business so that people will give them money, and they don't actually give that money back as they claim once they make a profit, because they don't make a profit. They use that money to lure more people in. They use the money from the new investor to invest in themselves. They get new cars, they take new potential investors out to fancy business dinners, and they flaunt and front and stunt with this money because they try to convince people that their business is doing so well since they have all the money to throw around, right? But they don't tell people that the money that they're throwing around is money that they borrowed from another investor. And they claim that since their business is doing so well, that they've got all this money to throw around, then you should invest too, and I'll make sure that you've got plenty of money to throw around also, except for that's the trap. So they use the previous investor's money to make themselves look successful, to lure the next one in. It's just a trap. Okay. That's where that one goes. Now, there were two other, or maybe three other breakdowns of this analogy, this descriptor. I feel that. Crown chakra attack. That is a absolute no, first and foremost. I do not consent. Also, what's wrong with you? Third eye and crown chakra. So honeypot trap in the context of cybersecurity is a decoy system, it says, or data set designed to lure cyber criminals into a controlled environment, allowing security professionals to observe and analyze their attacks, techniques, and procedures. And so I'm picking up something about, there are a few things, but something about an investigator watching or noticing the patterns of these criminals, these cyber criminals, or the stalking, hacking tactics, or something like that. But then I got two separate side channels, okay, based on this. One of them was, in this similar context, I was getting a flash of a police officer or somebody whose job is in relation to a private investigator, cybersecurity, or cyber crimes. So possibly a police officer who's into cyber crimes as part of their specifications. And so, oh, to catch a predator, heard, yep. My ear just started ringing too. To catch a predator or shows like that, they absolutely use honey traps. They will make fake accounts pretending to be children to lure predators out so that they can catch the predator, so that that predator can't be free to target real children online, which is what they were trying to do and thought that they were doing, not realizing that it was a honey trap from a detective or something trying to keep children safe. So that was one. Then I also picked up a second channel on this, and the honey trap reference of when criminals will, well, really there were two of them, the gang stalking or when they send people to spy and survey the target. In some cases, it's a distraction, right? They're trying to stress out or distract a victim with whatever little stalking tactic to keep their focus on the fact that they're plotting something else, or they're doing something else behind the scenes. In some cases I'm picking up, it's, let's say they send one of their little friends to stalk and they hope that you get upset about it. It's because the person that sent them to stalk is hoping that they can use your reaction on what seems like a separate situation, even though they're all friends and doing this together, obviously. And so it was a criminal conspiracy. It was a group effort. But let's say you've got criminal 1 and then criminal 2. Criminal 1 hires criminal 2 to come harass you because they want criminal 2 to distract you from the fact that criminal 1's trying to plot something. Or you've got criminal 1 who hires criminal 2, and then criminal 2 shows up to try to instigate a situation so that criminal 1 can say, see how the victim reacted to criminal 2, even though they're both trying to play innocent. I told you that person was just crazy. Told you the victim was just crazy. That kind of a thing. Or if they can't get to you because you've already put up shields and you see them for who they are, you've cut them out, that's when they try to send somebody else. Even as a romantic interest, they send somebody they think you might not realize is connected to them, that you might be open to even just being friendly with, or more. But what they want is for you not to realize that they're all connected so that they can get their foot in the door through whoever they're sending in, hoping that you'll fall for that person since you wouldn't fall for the others. Honey trap. But it's like they hire that person who they're sending towards you to hurt you, or they're hiring that person to spy for them, or they hired that person to, again, even just get their foot in the door so that the others can follow, metaphorically or literally speaking. No. No. Divine Masculine says, she doesn't like any of you. She said last night she skips her high school reunions, her school reunions on purpose for a reason. Why won't you get it through your thick skulls? I mean, because this is who they've been their whole lives. I just don't resonate. So, you know, you can't blame a clown for being a clown. I'm just not buying tickets to their circus. And frankly, I wouldn't take them if they were free, and I will not be tolerating the clowns showing up on my doorstep as they did this morning. Not my circus, not my clowns, not my monkeys. Certainly not my circus tent. Toodles. Okay, so there's that. Oh, in this case, God used me as a honeypot. I mean, now the system sees what there's no option for them to see anything but the loopholes that criminals have been using to abuse people and get away with it. And also, there's no way for them to perceive anything but the fact that there needs to be adjustment to protect people who are being targeted and to block people from having those opportunities to target. Now, I say this because I just got a download while reading another reference of this cybercrime honeypot bit. Hold on, just, oh, sorry, babies. Second, let me put on a little of this. Okay, so the honeypot reference. Oh, that sage is smoking. Love it. Zero complaints. But it does tell me what negative energy was here because I couldn't get the palo to light earlier, really. I didn't really want to burn. But this is smoking. I only lit a little bit and it's fuming. doesn't surprise me. Like I said, clowns on my doorstep this morning. Literally. But I picked it up last night, actually, and I picked it up picking up another download now in the beginning of the week. I picked up that there were some people gunning for my life at the beginning of the week. I even had a dream about it, and I made a police report on that. And I told them, I said, all psychic nature aside, the patterns go as such. They've been doing the hacking, the stalking, the cyber issues again. And then their pattern typically is that they're doing this because they're antsy or trying to intimidate or both. And they start showing up again physically. So I guarantee you that that's the pattern that's trying to play out, and they have malicious intent. These people are trying to take me out. So hopefully that's not the case, but when they show up on my doorstep again in a few days, don't say I didn't warn you. And then 4 days later, 5 days later, there they go. A week later, there they go. Just as prophesized. But in between the one that was showing up today, another one they started to send, and this seems to be somebody who, as far as I know, wasn't in the area, moved away a long time ago, and then ended up coming back for a while to rob a convenience store here at knife point, so violent. Hi, BBs. And this is somebody that I knew in grade school, and I have picked this up before, that they were trying to send him in because they hoped that I would be open to either being like friendly or like, oh, we knew each other as kids, romantic. No. They thought wrong. They think they know me. They don't. But I see right through them. Sean Lavoy, Honeypot. Stay away from me, because you know what I picked up in the bath this morning? I had my full face underneath the water, like a mermaid. It was like a sensory deprivation moment. And I heard, pew, pew. I'm like, what are you, really? Which was the Holy Angel's lighthearted way, pew, pew, way of saying, hey, these people are, they've got malicious intent and weapons on the brain, at least, if not in their pockets. So for as much as I wanted to go take a walk today, my holy team said, do not go out that front door, because you have one criminal on the street next to you, and then you've got another criminal on the street behind you. So basically, these two criminals, these grown-ass men who've been stalking you in rotation, they have you cornered and boxed in where you are. Do not leave this house today, because they're looking for you, and they've got weapons. And one of them was arrested for, again, robbing the gas station at knife point, and is ex-military. It's not uncommon for ex-military to have guns. The other one is a known drug addict and drug dealer. It's not uncommon for both of those addicts or dealers to carry weapons. I'm not playing that game. I know what you're doing. Stay away from me. Oh, and they're all doing this at the behest of a convicted abuser, a sexual deviant, a rapist who has been obsessed with me for a decade and will not leave me alone. He was diagnosed as a narcissistic sociopath in 2014, and all of this behavior, from the gang stalking to the obsession and all of it, trying to control my life and my movements and everything, just can't mind his own business or keep his hands to himself, metaphorically or otherwise. It's all coming from the same person in the same place. But the joke's on all of them, because now the local authorities know, and then so do their bosses. I anticipated that. I said, hey, police, I had a dream that these people are trying to do A, B, and C and take me out, and also that they're going to be showing up on the property.
You can try to call me crazy if you want, or laugh at me for calling and reporting this, especially because I picked it up in a dream, but guess what? It always plays out because I'm psychic, not stupid. Somebody said, no way you didn't do it. Yes, I did. I also called their lawyer twice this week, each time there was an incident that popped up, and I told their lawyer that, well, that you're just all making it worse for yourself. Not only, crooked lawyer, are you going to jail with them, but every time your crooked little client sends people to my doorstep to harass me, you're just putting yourself in prison faster. Why do you do this to yourself? Why do you do this to yourself? There's no way you did that. Really? You don't think so? You don't think so? This is Alexis Lily. I'm just warning you that if sending his friends to stalk my home address, he's going to end up in prison a lot faster. Toodles. Toodles. You don't think so? Okay, well, there's that. You BBs. I'm not playing games, just reporting the news. So I said, look, dream prophecy or not, they're going to show up on at my address, because they do. That's what I'm picking up. And I'm not taking any chances, since I'm picking up that what they're wanting to do is murder me. So you can laugh and try to call me crazy for reporting the fact that they're trying to take me out in my dream, but when they show up on my property again this week and you see that I'm telling the truth and I meant what I said and that I was correct, well, you'll wish you hadn't laughed. And guess what? Today I had to make that call to say, hey, remember when some of your people tried to laugh when I called last week? Well, guess who showed up on the property this morning, as I warned you they would. It's not so funny anymore, is it? I'm laughing. They're not. And I will be continuing to laugh all the way straight to the bank. So anyway, there's that. Then there was this. I picked up a few channels in regards to the Divine Masculine. Yeah, they're panicking now. Okay. So I've been picking this up a few times actually. There was a reference, a song I posted the other week, and it was about like hiring my friends or hiring whatever, but that's not always applicable or the case. Sometimes if you hire friends and family, they take advantage of you or they slack off because they're friends and family. It's not a good environment. So when I said, hey, I hire my friends, I hire my family, or basically working together as a team, the reference point I was getting a flash of was largely of a divine masculine and a feminine working together. And so I picked up that a divine masculine heard that and then went and he recruited a toxic karmic friend of his to be on his team, except for that wasn't a friend. He wasn't friendly. He did nasty things to sabotage the situation, the day, the night. It claimed it was a prank or a joke, but the only person who was getting any haha out of it was the bully who was doing it. And that's not a joke. That's bullying. So here's the message. You cannot hire all of your friends because not everyone is a friend. Some people are only friendly when it's convenient for them, especially when there's something in it for them, or you're giving them handouts, or they're chasing clout off of your name or something. Taking your energy, trying to destiny swap, energy harvest. Okay, so there was that. There was also a message about a divine masculine thinking that he has more time, so maybe he has time to party and maybe waste time with crappy people, or he's looking for more signs when he has the answers. But it's a reference of, in the show The Good Place, where Chidi, who has decision fatigue issues, like decision paralysis, analysis paralysis, he is so afraid to make the wrong choice that he just doesn't make a choice at all, and then he misses the opportunity. He stands there for 3 hours, and by the time he figures out what out of the 32 or however many frozen yogurt flavors that there are, which one that he wants, they're out of that flavor, and he's taken all that time to decide, and they're out of the flavor he finally picked, and then the store is closing too, so it's a whole thing. But in this case, if he thinks, well, I've got more time, I can party, I can hang around with crappy people, 26, 22, because he's wasted time thinking he had more time. And if he does this, by the time he's ready to settle down, something like his body's broken, or it's breaking down and he's not feeling well, or he's finally starting to show final signs of wear and tear, or he doesn't have the time and energy to spend and invest on the life that he wanted, and whether this be just spending time with his divine feminine, their kids, going on vacation, or whatever it is, because now he has to heal, or he's wasted time playing around while his counterpart was being bullied, and now she needs to heal, and her kids need to heal, their kids need to heal, or whatever the case may be. It'll vary from person to person, but either way, this all could have been prevented. And this divine masculine needs to understand that every time he does not take an action, it creates a ripple effect that directly impacts him and his karmic footprint, right? Energetically speaking, dharma versus karma, and impacts the energy, especially when you fumble your destiny path and affect other people who were contracted into it. So if he's wasting time when he's supposed to be with divine feminine, that affects her. If he's wasting time dilly-dallying with other people, or partying and whatever, when God is calling him to align with his divine feminine, like that's the time that they're supposed to be connecting and having kids and whatever. But like, what if he's out partying and does something that ruins his body, or makes himself sick, or burns out his own clock or something? Right, I hear that. I don't want to do that. No, so think about what you're doing and the consequences of it. Like throwing your whole life away. Distractions don't seem like they're distractions until they're done distracting you. Remember, I said that a few weeks ago. It seems like you got distracted since then. Okay, so especially every time you don't take an action, it creates a ripple effect that directly impacts you and your karmic footprint, especially when you fumble your destiny path and affect other people who were contracted into it, divine feminine, kids, whoever they were supposed to reach and impact as a counterpart, as a soul, as a power couple, a divine power couple. Here's the other side of this. Every time you take an action that you were not supposed to take, which can cause subsequent catastrophic events, it has the same effect. 2922. It's just quantum math. I am seeing that those toxic friends and people like that, if there is a balance to the equation, it's like divine, the outcome of the number is 4, or I'll just say it's 6. You've got divine masculine is 2, divine feminine is 2, and each of their kids is 1, so that's 6. And then he's got this toxic friend he's trying to add into the mix, and that's 2. Well, that makes it 8, except for the equation says 6. So which one of those people need to go? Not the kids, not divine masculine, not divine feminine. 3030. So it's like, also, here was another analogy, trying to figure out if you're allergic to something. I saw somebody else bring this up recently, but I got a flash of this today too. You keep tasting it because you like it so much and you hope, oh, hold on, backtrack. It's like trying to figure out if you're allergic to something, but you know for a fact that every time your body eats that specific thing, you have problems, but you keep testing it because you like it so much and you hope that that's not what it is. You hope that the problem is not that you're allergic to that thing. You hope since you like that thing, it must be something else that's causing the problem, but that's not what it is. Whatever they're trying to avoid stopping eating is actually what's causing the problem. And so at this point, really deep down, they know that, let's say they're lactose intolerant, it's the milk that's bothering them. But they really like ice cream. And so they keep eating it and they keep hoping it's not the ice cream that's bothering their stomach, but it is. And at this point, they know, really beyond a shadow of a doubt, they know that it's the ice cream that's bothering them, but they don't want to stop eating it, so they just keep tasting it and trying it. If you don't like where you're going, stop taking yourself there. If you don't like where your body is at, stop taking yourself there. Metaphorically or otherwise. So in this case, if he wants to keep sampling it and tasting the same flavor over and over again to see if he really likes it, knowing full well, oh, excuse me, this was the flip side analogy, shifting gears a little bit. Then there was divine feminine, okay? And so let's say, because I've picked this up before, if she posts this song today, I'll know that we're on the same page, or I'll know that I'll know that I need to reach out, I'll know that but then often they get in their head and then they don't, and then they want another confirmation. You know what that sounds like to me? Addiction. Just one more hit, and I'll never use again, and stop it. So just one more confirmation and let me know for sure that this is my divine feminine. When he knows, he wants to keep sampling it. He wants another confirmation and another synchronicity when God knows this is it for him and he knows this is it for him and he's just trying to sample again. He keeps sampling and tasting the flavor over and over again. Let's say it's ice cream, metaphorically speaking, to see if he really likes it, knowing full well that it is his favorite flavor. And that he doesn't actually ever want a different flavor. But he wants to just keep sampling it, just in case. No. Eventually that ice cream shop is going to cut you off because they've already given you 6 spoonfuls of the same flavor, okay? Make your decision. It's annoying and not very nice, the flavor you like so much. I heard that. Finicky. Yeah, stop being finicky. So, again, in some places I keep picking up that they've been trying to test the telepathic connection or in the spiritual gifts because they don't trust their own intuition or God sending the messages or something like that. Could be a song, right? Like I said, if my divine feminine posts this today, I'll know she's the one, or something like that. But it's happened a whole bunch of times, and he knows who she is. He's just looking for extra comfort so he doesn't have to get out of his comfort zone. So in that case, he wants her to come to him. Well, princess, that's not emperor behavior. Not to be rude, but Lord, that's what it's like, and I'm getting annoyed. 5:55, time for change. I don't want to read this on my table again. This came through while I was enjoying my bath. You think that was nice or pleasant or relaxing? Cut the crap. Okay, thank you. Yeah, now he gets it. Oh, yeah. I interrupted your quiet peace time with my bullshit. Pretty much. I'm not going to stay mad, but I'm not saying it's pleasant. Heard that. Well, he's grateful I'm speaking about it. Well, that's why I'm talking. I'm not going to sit there and quietly stew over it and expect you to figure it out. I'm telling you what the problem is. You have an opportunity to adjust and fix it. That's your free will choice. If you don't, it will be resolved. You'll just be removed from the equation. It's kind of the memo. And I know that's not what he wants. So, you know, rather than quietly be mad and resentful, let's respectfully and responsibly, like adults, communicate about the problem and address the situation. Creative problem solving. So the whole him wanting her to come to him at this point, at least in that regard, doing the work, the whole chaser energy, no, that's not happening. And I heard in some of their cases they need to get their big boy panties on and straighten their crown and handle it, or they're not equipped for the crown, because again, that's not acting like an emperor. He's not going to get his empress, meaning if he doesn't pick himself up and go speak to her, connect with her, collect her, etc. What was that? No, I'm not getting on the other side unless you pack your bags, come in with me. Right. Well, I hear this. Pablo. There it is. So what am I hearing? Okay. It's called Love You Bad. Also, mind you, the person who pulled up on my property today, I filed a protection order against this person last year, and they lied in court under oath, under transcript, which I have in my filing cabinet. I have copies of them lying on recording here. And they lied in order to dodge criminal accountability for their stalking and harassment. And they continued, even as of today, the criminal harassment. The day after they lied in order to dodge criminal accountability, they showed back up on my property giving me the finger, as if to say, fuck you, I lied to a judge yesterday and they didn't give you the protection you asked for, so I'm going to show up on your property to harass you and there's nothing you can do about it. Blah. As if that wasn't going to get them in further trouble. Yeah, that's not how that works. I was able to skate karma for a few minutes, as if karma wouldn't double back and beat them twice as hard on the next round. That's not how that works. You don't dodge karma. Karma doesn't care if you move. It loses no addresses. It misses no deadlines. It will find you if you move. Skips no beats. whether it be in this life or another. You will pay it back. End of discussion. Not if I heard, not if I clear it or put it on someone else. You can't put karma on someone else. It's not how that works. I don't care what spell you think you're doing. That's not how that works. It's black energy. You get worse karma for trying. Now, do they make a mess of things for people in the process? Yeah. But that's not them putting karma on people or dissolving their karma or clearing their karma. The only way to clear the karma is to first acknowledge it for what it is. And second is to do the right thing and actually seek to regulate, balance the scales, repent if necessary, do what you need to do to make good on the situation. But trying to cover it up or do more nasty stuff to cover up the first round of nasty stuff, yeah, that's not it. Okay, talking about karma here, quantum law. We're not talking about PEMDAS. We're not playing with integers. A negative and a negative does not make a positive in this case. That's not how that works. It's not how that works. Yes, it is. No, not in the world of karma. You don't understand quantum math, clearly. Hi, baby. So, an emperor takes action. They defend their kingdom, their castle, and their queen, as well as what they desire in life, most specifically when divinely guided. And they are being guided towards their divine feminine. They have been. 6:02. Here on the clock on the East Coast. 5:55 is all about big changes too. Okay. So then I also got a reference flash to Alfred the Great. And Alfred the Great he had a decision as to go to war or there were a few decisions. Something about defending the kingdom. And he wasn't sure exactly how to move or what to do. So he went into the temple that was in his castle. And he prayed for 3 days. He didn't come out. He wouldn't see anybody until he had his answer from God. He fasted for 3 days. He was just in there praying, and by the time he was done, it was 3 days later. And he had his clarity. Self-perceived clarity. It's not about other people's opinions. Quite the opposite, in fact. And so, in this case, the divine masculine needs to model himself more in that energy instead of Napoleonic energy, right? Alfred the Great listened to God in that reference. But Napoleon listened to other people. Because Alfred the Great made the choices he did, the lineage of that line, of my bloodline, still rules. Crowned today, to this very day. But Napoleon listened to all these other people who wanted power and say in the crown, but did not actually have the authority to wear it. And because he listened to them over the divine, which told him to make the opposite decisions that these negative influences were telling him based on greed or fear or whatever other thing, lust even, in some cases, he lost the kingdom. His empire crumbled. You see? Because it's not about all these other people. It's not about their opinion. They're not the ones wearing the crown. Divine masculine is. And he has the say. 4, 4, 2, 2 on the count. So I'm picking up that, again, needing to choose more Alfred the Great energy versus Napoleonic in that regard. But I'm picking up that it's because he's had people telling him he shouldn't trust his intuition or this connection or even like synchronicities, the music or whatever it is that's coming up. It's just a coincidence and not a synchronicity. But these are either people who are not tapped in at all, or they are people who know that it's legitimate. These synchronicities, this connection, this divine connection is legitimate, and they don't want him to listen. Which means that that is a crown chakra attack, whether it's really conscious or subconscious, but especially the conscious ones, which means they're trying to snatch his crown off of his head by making his decisions for him or encouraging him, trying to fearmonger him, influence him into making their decisions or the decisions that they want made, right? Using him to get their will done instead of allowing him to rule, or more specifically, really, he needs to rule regardless of whether they want him to or not. Alpha, Sigma. Of course the betas want a say, want to fight. No. That's why they're betas, and you're not. Straighten your crown and handle it. Thank you. I hear that. I'll help you, Divine Feminine says. Yep. Come here, baby. So they're trying to snatch the crown off of his head, and he's letting them by giving away his power instead of using that divine connection and honoring the intuitive guidance. Those messages were not for them. They were for him. It's none of their business. He needs to learn the lesson of Napoleon and keep other people out of it. Right? Meaning the messages, the synchronicities that he's getting that they're trying to say aren't real or just coincidence or whatever, when they really are for him. They either don't understand because they're not meant to, those things aren't for them, or they don't have the qualifications to, or they do and they're trying to gaslight him. So on any accord, none of those people are relevant or credible when it comes to his perception and decision making, and he needs to remove them from the equation in whatever form. Okay, so this, if he doesn't, is letting karmics dictate his life and choices, as well as when they tell him to disregard his own intuition and cognizance, which is the quickest way to lose his favor with God. It's how previous masculine fell. No, come here. As well as lose his divine feminine if he fumbles the connection by not moving towards her, going towards her, actually connecting, because he's letting all these other people get involved. And at that point, he's letting all these other people pull on her energy and siphon his energy. It's not nice for either of them, especially an intuitive divine feminine. But also forfeiting his life and destiny path in the process. Finances can crumble in this regard. A career doesn't have the divine support behind it if that's the case, and it's just not ideal. It's in opposition to everything he's been working for. So basically, don't let these people cheat you out of your destiny and your blessings just because, or whatever reason. They're jealous, they're out of touch, whatever. So I also picked up that gun reference at... Stop that. You're not... No. No. $142, meaning you may not be able to see certain blessings or information or opportunities opening up and arising, but they are here and they are coming. Come here, my love. Come here. Cute. Just want some love. It's okay. So, I heard a karmic speak to somebody, a friend possibly, and this seems to be, maybe it was in regards to spell work. In fact, that is what I picked up. It doesn't have to be. This could be, in some cases, in relation to the stalking. And this karmic male said to whoever he was speaking to, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And he was saying this in regards to something that I mentioned. I picked up Power of 3 spells, or I picked up that they were doing some kind of spell work or attack, or there was some negative energy being sent out. And this karmic male said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it, because if she's picking it up, it's working. Except for that's not the case at all. God wanted me to know what was going on. Of course, you've got people trying to plot and play around in my energy field, but basically this karmic thinks if I picked it up, then it must have penetrated my aura or my energy field. But no, what it is actually God put a spiritual Bluetooth in my ear and said, hey, over. Hey, what's up, God? Over. I just wanted to let you know, pew pew, these karmics are trying to take you out. Over. Okay, thanks, God. Over. It's just a spiritual Bluetooth. You're over here trying to hack my devices to figure out what's going on. I've got God literally in my ear. So, no, it's not getting through. It's the same reason while I was in the spiritual bath, I picked up your gun stuff. It's not working. It was literally fully submerged, face and everything, underneath the water. 5122. Went right over me, but God wanted me to know what you were doing. It's working! No. Imagine you've got a soldier on the couple soldiers, right, on the battlefield. Neither one of them are near the grenade strike. One of them can see it, or they picked it up on the computer systems or the map, right? The honeypot. Yeah, the honeypot. You missed the target, bitch. And the karmic thinks, I must have gotten him with that one. And one soldier says on the radio to the other soldier, hey, just wanted to let you know they just dropped a bomb at location ABC. Didn't hit anybody, but... And a karmic says, well, okay, well, if they know about it, it must have killed them. If they're aware of it, it must have killed them. Do you hear how delusional you are? Or they just picked it up on the radar system and radioed each other about your bullshit. Thank you. There's your analogy. Congratulations for being an idiot. Okay, now that that's been appropriately addressed and established, moving on. I heard it was so funny, 2 High School Musical songs. Stick to the stuff you know. But also, we're all in this together. Excuse me, put on this lip balm for a second. We're all in this together. I'm like, all right, so you've got karmics tag teaming, but then don't mess with the status quo. And these are people who are trying to say, stick to the stuff you know, don't mess with the status quo, meaning they want the reign of terror. They feel like me minding my business and speaking spiritual truth and all the stuff that I do is stick to the stuff you know. Or in the legal system, hey, there's corruption going on, hey, this needs to be addressed, stick to the stuff you know. No, just because you've been getting away with your crimes for a while does not mean that it was ever tolerable. And the stuff that I know is that you're about to go down for all of it from the jump. Not if I get you first. Yeah, that's not how that works. You get in trouble for trying to set people up and target people because you don't want to take accountability for what you did. You're doubling down on your bad behavior to try to prove that it's not bad behavior. But bitch, again, we're not playing with PEMDAS or integers. This is real life, and negative karma does not more negative karma does not erase negative karma. Bad behavior does not make your previous bad behavior or the consequences of it go away. It makes it worse. It's like getting in trouble again after you've already been warned you've already gotten detentions, suspensions. The next thing you're getting in regards to continuing to get in trouble at school and not do the things that you were supposed to do, and repeatedly doing the things that you know are violations of other people, of the school code, etc., you're going to get expelled, meaning you will never have a chance to go back. And that's what's happening. The third reference I got after the first song came through, All in This Together, and then the second one immediately back to back, Status Quo, came through, all from High School Musical, is that these people are immature AF because they're all adults. They're all, a lot of them, older than me. If not at least by a couple of years, then old enough to be my mother or grandparents. But they peaked in high school. Baby, I can't relate. I'm just getting started. I might be a late bloomer, but, I've always got stuff growing, and they don't. What I lack in brawn, I make up for in brains. And also, itty bitty titty committee or not, guess what? Brains are the new tits. So I win. Also, those boobs do not make your personality disorders look smaller, just saying. They're certainly not invisible. We could see that before you posted that, but thanks for confirming. Nut job. Anyway, the next channel was that there was this karmic in regards to the stalking as well. Like, this was an attack at me, right? I've been posting my own stuff, like, specifically the one I got a flash of was the soldier. Soldier carries a mighty sword. This one. With her tongue. A ruler. Queen. Okay, that one, they're mad at that. Oh, she wants attention. I'll give her some attention. I'll send one of my friends to stalk her home address again this morning. That was that energy. Like, these people are delusional. I don't post for you, psycho karmics. I'm responding to you because you barked up my tree, bitch, literally this morning. But you're not relevant. You're trying to force your way into my face to make yourself relevant, which is precisely why myself and everybody else can see that you're not. People who are relevant wouldn't need to do that. And this is the thing. If you're so irrelevant that you don't get mentioned, right? You don't get mentioned unless your crimes and refusal to leave people alone are so bad, to the point where you're going to prison for them, to the point where I have to whistleblow about it and I have to speak your name. You don't want your name dragged up in that. I hear that, what is it? Even bad press is good attention. No, it's not. The more people know what you did, the less people like you. The more people know what you did, the more trouble you're in. The more people want you in prison. What are you talking about? You are absolutely insane, clearly. I haven't even cracked the cards yet. This is just off the cuff. But you're arguing not with me. You're arguing with the truth. And you're not very smart. It's not the truth, it's your opinion. Okay, well, it's your opinion that I want your attention. It's just not correct. Yeah, heard that. She's with me now. Divine me. I'm gonna come scoop her up. Heard. Two things. Russ, scoop you tonight. What is that? Ride slow. Come scoop you tonight. Yeah, ride slow. I have to sneeze. Your bullshit is bullshitting. I smell it. Ugh. You're gross. Pie face. And then also David, she's with me. Okay. The karmic says, did you make police reports about me? Yes, I did. And all your little cohorts, and I made a point to remind them of all the previous incidents and who all you're connected to, because I know exactly what you're doing and why. You're not secret. You're not slick. You're not covert either. 6:22 here on the clock on the East Coast. I also saw 6:16. There are twin flame unions coming through. And also hostages in situations where children were being held captive. 61:16, as I look up on the count, yeah, they're also being sent home. Harmony restored. Okay? So, she wants attention. I'll give her attention. I'll go stalk her, send people to stalk her. No, me healing and getting back on my feet and coming back out of hermit mode, very hermit high priestess mode, to connect with my vibe tribe on my channels that you are not supposed to be on, that you've been blocked on. In fact, you've been blocked on all of my social media, so why are you still following me and stalking me? If you're relevant enough for me to block, if you're not, it's because you're not relevant enough for me to even know your handle to block, okay? Just go away. I don't deal with locals for this reason. No, I'm connecting. She wants attention. No, I'm connecting with my vibe tribe. You stay away from me. I'm connecting with my vibe tribe. You're not it. You're delusional. And mind you, even if somebody did want to connect or want attention from people that they resonate with, yeah, that's not it. Even if people do want a healthy, happy social circle to connect with, they would rather be alone than deal with you. Don't you understand that? You see, I'm coming out and I'm standing here and I'm holding space because I'm not alone and I'm not going to be alone. I've got Vibe Tribe who sees what you're doing and sees what I'm doing. And they don't support you. I'm connecting with them. You're stalking me while I'm doing it and they're watching you do it. They're watching you clock me. How embarrassing for you. They're all looking down at you too. Pathetic. I see that. And there's a karmic who says, well, I don't see them in the comment sections. Yeah, you wouldn't. Because those of us who actually mean anything and have a sense of value, we don't need to be seen like that. You're the attention whore. You're the one looking for my attention. It's why you won't leave me alone. You want me to mention you. That's why you keep stalking my home address or sending people to do it. You want my attention. I don't want you. So, I've been in my own space. If I upload, I upload. And beyond that, well, she's been dancing and I'm jealous of that and I'm mad about that and she's getting success and I'm going to attack her and blah. Well, she's dancing. If I upload, I upload. There are plenty of times, in fact, pretty regularly on the daily, where I dance at certain points all through the day. But much of it I don't post. In fact, often I don't even pull out a camera to record it. I just let it flow. So, no. Once again, you don't know what you're talking about. You're too busy trying to mind other people's business to have any sense of self or cognizance of your own. Clearly. You want attention. Yeah, karmic. Now he's grumbling. This karmic male. Okay, you're right. Took you long enough. Thick skull. 6522. Probably it was all those overdoses, but your brain is clearly pretty mushy. It shouldn't have taken you that long to get that through your thick and empty skull. Hood rat, I know exactly who you are. Okay, so there was that. Divine Masculine came through with this one. I can see you standing there with your long brown hair and my jaw dropped to the floor. When you try and look away like you just don't care, that just makes me want you more. I'm about to pull up to your area. That body make me wanna marry you. I'm tryna dive into your energy, but you get the best of me. I love you and the sad girl, the mad girl, the bad girl. So don't you make me sad girl, bad girl, my world. Oh, I love you bad, 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 bad. You know I love you. Look, oh, I love you bad, 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 bad. You know I love you. You're my sunshine, even on a rainy day. We can fly this stuff to outer space, even if we don't then crash and break away. I wouldn't have it any other way. So I'm about to pull up to your area. That body makes me wanna marry you. I'm tryna dive into your energy, but you get the best of me. Okay. He says, I love it when you're sad. I love it when you're sad, girl, mad girl, bad girl, my girl, whole world. I want you bad. I love you bad. I want to dive into your energy. He says, the body makes me want to marry you. I love you. The sad girl, the mad girl, the bad girl. So don't you make me sad, girl. Mad girl, you're my world. I love you bad. I'm about to pull up to your area, he says. I also heard Russ ride slow. He says, I'm going to scoop you tonight. Oh, hey, also before the stalking incident happened, I heard a karmic male say, oh, she's not going to like this. So I picked up that they were plotting before they did it. They're not very smart. And I heard it again a few minutes ago. This karmic male is still trying to plot or do something. It's a desire he has to up the ante I'm picking up. Cheers. Because he feels like his target either didn't react. He feels like the target did not react the way he wanted them to, or they didn't react as much, if at all. Maybe he feels like they weren't triggered, or they weren't triggered as much as he wanted them to, and so he's trying to do it more or again or something. I hear wear her out. He's trying to burn out the target by constantly harassing them to the point where they're stressed out and to a breakdown, or they get sick, or I hear they're vulnerable, maybe like they're not thinking clearly, and they will either take some kind of crappy offer, or they'll just be more open to being in a dangerous environment, maybe even just because they're less aware of their surroundings, or maybe they think that the target won't be able to trust or use their intuition as much if there's something here about that. It doesn't really matter because it's not going to work, I'm picking up, but that's what they're wanting to try and thinking. It's very, these people are fucked up in the head. I'll just leave it at that. They're fucked up. It's delusional, it's mentally unstable, it's narcissistic, sociopathic behavior. Let me show you. They manipulate and exploit other people. They disregard other people, meaning they don't care if they're hurting people or if they're stepping on people, as long as they get what they want out of the situation. They lack empathy, meaning they don't care that they're hurting people. They show a sense of entitlement, meaning they think that they can just take whatever they want, or they think they're entitled to harass the victim, but the victim's not entitled to stand up against it or speak up about it, or they're due for more abuse because they didn't just roll over and lay down and shut up and take the abuse in the first place, which means that that abuser thinks that they're entitled to to abuse. No, there's a karmic trying to laugh at that demeanor I just showed, but I don't know why you're laughing, karmic male, because I'm laughing at you. That's how you look. You say you look and sound stupid when you do that. No, bitch, that's how you sounded. I was mimicking you. That's how you look. We're laughing at you. That's why I paused after I said it, because I think you're stupid too. But apparently so do you, hood rat. You think your own self is dumb. 7233. I just mirrored it back to you. Guess you don't like you very much, do you? But you're obsessed with me. Entitlement and superiority. I'm gonna show this person. Show me what? Your behavior shows me that I wouldn't use you as a doormat. You're disgusting. I'd rather muck out a dirty horse stall and then walk across my nice, freshly cleaned, bleached kitchen floors, because I promise you that would be much more cleanly than using one of these karmic narcissists as a doormat. I wouldn't track that shit inside. Oh, that hurt my feelings. Really? You were just trying to make jokes at us. It's not so funny when the rabbit's got the gun, though, is it? Uno reverse. Next. Speaking of, wait for the next little bit of nail art, because I did put that acrylic on. Manipulation and exploitation. They manipulate others to achieve their goals, often lying, cheating, and stealing to get what they want. I'm not making it up, it's right here. See? Lying, cheating, and stealing to get what they want. They have little to no lack of empathy, concern for the feelings, needs, or well-being of others, viewing them as objects to be used, which again is why they do not care if they're causing harm or if they're trying to block people from getting help. In fact, it goes into the manipulation and exploitation bit. Better for them if they can do that, because then it makes it easier for them to target somebody and harder for that person to get help or protection to make it stop, which also means that the target, or the targeter rather, the perpetrator, feels like if it's harder for the victim to get help and protection, then it's harder for someone to hold them accountable for their crimes, isn't it? Yeah, it's a whole tactic. And this is where they have gaslighted themselves into thinking that they're putting their negative karma, their negative karma onto someone else by dodging accountability. They think by dragging out the time sequence before they finally do get caught and putting other people through more pain and suffering, that they're putting their bad karma on other people. No, bitch, that's not how that works. That's why you're still mad. You're still trying to chase us and do what you're doing. We're still coming out on the other side of it. You're mad about the come up. You're mad that we're getting back on our feet. You're mad that we're overcoming you. And you're still trying the same old toxic tactics. You're mad. You're fucked up. You just don't like it when I give you back to you. Hey, Oka, you're ugly. Have the reality check. 7557. Okay, so there's that. They believe that they deserve special treatment, right? So like they're above the law. That's what they think. And they're often arrogant and entitled, seeing themselves as more important than others. And again, that is delusional. They've put themselves in this gaslit position in their heads to think that since they've been able to temporarily dodge accountability for their crimes, then they will forever be able to, and that's false. Or that by putting other people through suffering, it's them transferring their karma onto others. No, it's not. They're going to go to jail for what they did, that they tried to cover up in the first place. And then after that, instead of just taking the adult accountability, right, that comes with the adult responsibilities that they claimed that they were responsible enough for or wanted to have, money, children in some cases, whatever the case may be, status of some kind, privilege of some kind. Eventually that will boomerang back. They get in trouble for what they did that they tried to cover up, and then the cover up too, because the cover up itself is a secondary crime. And then there's the matter of every time that they recommitted one of these cycles, every time they came back to stalk again, that's another stalking incident in case. You're like, yes, it was one long dragged out incident with the same toxic group of people, but every time they come back to hit the block up again, stalking or otherwise, that's a new count. It's a new count of that crime. Imagine, here's your analogy. Somebody goes and they rob the same house 3 times. That's 3 separate counts of robbery. It doesn't matter whether they went to the same address. They went back 3 separate times. That's 3 counts of robbery. Those are 3 separate instances and events. Or if they went to 3 separate houses on the block, doesn't matter. Oh, it's all on the same street. It was just one night. I just hit them all at once. It doesn't matter. That was 3 separate counts. Those are 3 separate victims. Or in the case where they targeted the same house 3 separate times, that was the same victim. You hit 3 separate times. You're going to get 3 assault charges for that. Assault in this case, whether it be theft or whatever the violation may be. But metaphorically speaking, that was a form of assault. So situationally, legally speaking, yeah, some sort of penalty for that. That's not how that works. Okay. Okay, Class A felony. We don't argue with stupid here. We don't argue with incompetent. We don't argue with narcissistic. Because they're not very mentally stable. We don't argue with crazy either. Or immature. Because you're not mature enough to comprehend the truth of the topic. Also too far shoved up your own behind with cognitive dissonance to care. So then this goes into the next one, which I did just outline with all of those little raw channels, right? They believe they deserve special treatment and are often arrogant and entitled, seeing themselves as more important than others. But look what's next. No, I'm not. No, I'm above the law. No. Okay. Well, that's not what psychology says. So, okay. They often disregard social norms like, gee, maybe the fact that stalking people isn't it. For starters, or sending people to do your dirty work for you, yeah, that's also not it. 80-22. Delray would never. If you wanted to try to compete with Divine Masculine or become Divine Masculine or whatever it is you were trying to do, karmic male, you failed. Inevitably, indubitably, long ago at that. Embarrassingly so for you. Next. Thanks for the joke, though. You've become the butt of it, but guess who's laughing now? Not you. They often disregard social norms. He's so mad. Laws and boundaries, acting impulsively, right, without consideration for the consequences. So in the process of continuing harassment, because they thought that they hadn't got caught, they actually proved that the harassment that they claimed was never going on has actually just been continuing. I never did that. She's lying, they said as they continued to stalk, except for people were watching. I never stalked her. She's lying, they said as people watched them stalk again. What do you mean she's lying? I just watched you do it again. You said you'd never done it and you would never do it, but you're doing it now. Obviously, you're the liar, they're saying to the karmic. Nobody believes you. Not anymore. So they try to be charming and charismatic, right? They try to be nice or very likable in public, often mirroring other people or victims' qualities or personality traits that they're copying because they know that people like the victims and they want to be seen in that light. But they also try to project their own darkness onto others, claiming that everything that they are that they don't like is what other people are doing. It's very hypocritical. They're often unreliable, irresponsible, hearing immature again, dishonest, failing to keep promises and honor commitments. And then again, they're the ones who want attention. So of course they think that everybody else does or are projecting, like me standing there connecting with my vibe tribe. Well, fine, you want to be in the public and I'm jealous of that? I'll harass you. I'll give you the attention you want. Bitch, that's not the attention I want. You want that attention. You want my attention, which is why you don't know how to mind your own fucking business. And I think you're pathetic. I heard that. Three-headed snake. Toxic. They crave admiration and attention, often seeking validation from others and becoming upset when they don't receive it, which is why they haven't been able to stop stalking me and have been upping the ante. Yeah. Thank you. Beyond that, it's why they assume that other people want that, or they do impulsive and negative and reckless things in such desperation to get that attention, right? That reckless, irresponsible energy. And then they get themselves in trouble because the consequences hit them. It's your fault. No, it's your fault. You were impulsive and reckless and immature, and you wanted that attention so bad, like the tantruming toddler, but you're not a toddler, you're an adult, and so you have adult consequences for that Mali. Okay, and this is why the last one is here. Nobody wants to put up with your crap. Nobody wants to deal with that. It's not cute. Difficulty maintaining relationships. People, this is why people leave you. It's not our fault, it's yours. You're too toxic to be around or stay around, and it's why you can't come near us. You're not even good for yourself. You don't even like yourself. You're too busy harassing other people. You don't even like to sit still or be with yourself. You're too busy trying to disturb other people's peace, and that's why. It's because you're disturbed. Okay? You try to copy other people and mask yourself in other people or cloak yourself in other people's energy because you don't like yourself, which is why you try to come over here while we're connecting with our vibe tribe, or even just minding your own business in quiet hermitude, because you don't like yourself and you want attention. You don't like that we won't give you attention, but we'll give our vibe tribe attention. You don't like that we won't give you attention, and you don't like to sit with yourself or your own thoughts, but we're comfortable with ourselves and our solitude. You are just broken. Okay? You're fucked up, narcissist. Just get grips. Okay, that's all I've got to say about that. No, mind you, because he's got an issue with that. You think I'm broken. Well, that's why you're going around trying to break people. But this is the thing. The people that you've been going around trying to break, yeah, we don't go around breaking people. We're healers. You're not. You're destructive. You're a bull in a china shop. I am the china shop and the china. You may not sit with me. Because you don't know how to sit the fuck still and sit on your hands and keep them in your pockets and mind your own business and stop touching other people and their things. Toddler. Adult child. Immature. Petty little brat. Salty. Not my problem. Mind you, this is an almost 35-year-old man, okay, that I'm calling out, so it's not a child. This is applicable. Yeah, heard that. Oh, so that's well warranted. Yep, the tone is justified. He's way too old to be behaving like this, but he's a narcissistic sociopath whose parents have enabled him to do so for almost 35 years, so he only hears it from me. Why? Because I've been the responsible adult in the situation. Let's see, shall we? Actually, you know what? Before I do that, when I went to put these cards away from last night's reading, a few of them fell on the floor and I didn't notice. So for my light workers, don't try to change people. It never works. You do you, right? We mind our own business. We can't, no matter how much I rationalize, no matter how much I speak about this, I'm not doing this because I think this will change a karmic's mind. And even if they do get a rock bottom reality check and they realize that they're wrong today, typically for almost 10 years, what I've seen the pattern is even if their egos are bruised today and they realize I'm right, they wake up tomorrow still a narcissist, still with that fucked up brainwave, and then they get back into the toxic patterns again. They start bullying and they start attacking again. Because even though it was a reality check and even though it's the truth, they're a narcissist. They gaslight themselves and other people, and it's mental illness. They're not going to wake up tomorrow, despite the fact that I'm rationalizing today, even if it does click in their brain for a second. They're not going to wake up tomorrow and suddenly stop being mentally ill. Their brains are fucked up. You just have to understand that. Okay, so you do you. I'm not speaking this for them. I'm calling it out to defend myself and my light workers. I'm speaking so my light workers know what's going on. I'm speaking so these karmics realize that we're not going anywhere. Their tactics haven't worked, and frankly, they're stupid. But it's not because I think that it's going to change anything or these narcs. I'm not doing it for them. I do it for me and my collective, for starters. And the laws that are going to be forced to be changed to make sure that there are better protections in place for other people who need them, and the same laws that have to be changed so that people have better protections. I have not done the acrylic on this nail yet. Can you see the difference? The same heard that there's a karmic, just because I can. Hold on, I'm turning the light on, so watch your eyes. This one is the only one that has acrylic on it. Hold on. It's not a tip. I use nail forms to do it, to build up stickers. And you can see that's my natural nail underneath, and that's not a chip in it. It's just that a little bit of the acrylic got under, so it's like it looks more clear in that spot. But that's the only one that's like that, because the rest of them are indeed my real nails. There's nothing on there. It's just nail. But I haven't done this one. See, remember my thumb's broke. All just real nails. There's nothing under there. It's just my nail. Just because I can. These karmics, when you do something that they couldn't do themselves, they don't think you could do it. That must not be real. You must have just used press on. No. No, in fact, look. I've still got all my nail stuff out over here because I'm not done. It's acrylic. Powder. Activator. Dip container. Brushes. No. Oh, where's the sticker? Where's the nail form? Ah. Right here. Relax. See, I used that one. That's the back of it. I just put the center on there, and then there's the one I haven't used yet. I'll do this one next. I love proving assholes wrong. And speaking of, you need some yoga in your life. Well, I was just on the yoga mat doing those. I do need to go back on there, especially after this reading. Good grief. And also make a point to get some rest. If you need to nap, do so. And also definitely let your tears and your feelings go. I picked this up on a channel last night. If you need to, let it go. Let it channel out. You can ask, again, I mentioned this last night, but you can ask God and the holy angels, like if you feel yourself start to cry and you feel a release coming, rather than choke it down and swallow it, you can ask for anything that just needs to be released at that moment to clear out. Use it as an opener. It's like if the door is opening because those emotions want to come up to come out anyway, like your bucket's too full, right? Let it come out and use it as momentum. If there's already stuff trying to come out to be released, let it go and let it take whatever else can and needs to go with it out the door. So there's that. But these were from this past life energy yesterday. And these fell on the floor. These did not get read. I don't recall reading these. But the tree card came out. I was picking up this Celtic, in some cases druidic energy. There was a crossover as well between Atlantis and Egypt, and all of those do they do not like this truth play back hand in hand, because in my case I have a crossover past life in each of those places, but a number of them in fact. Some of these places were actually tied together, if not geologically closely on the map, then in energy. Or, like I said before, in some kind of past life tie and place. In my case, I went from one, I died in one, and then I went right to the next to finish my mission and job that I had to do. But this is also the reason that one of those cycles ended and the reincarnation had to play out, because it's these karmics every time trying to take things that are not theirs and battle people in the process. Battle people who won't just forfeit and let them, I hear it, gotta call it like I hear it, rape our bodies. Battle people who we won't just let come and take whatever it is from us, whether in some cases our lives it was land or like family. Again, marauders and raiders, people who just come in and take what property they want from you, even by violence and force. These are pirates, okay? This is what we've been dealing with. These karmic people, they're pirates. Satan's scalawags. I hear I'm gonna mop the deck with you. Yeah. And so, unfortunately, these karmic people, oh, whoops, this was in reverse, so were these. So these people, they wanted to have some kind of power, or think that they do, or they try to take it in each life. And you know what I've noticed is, I know who some of these people in this life causing problems were in previous incarnations, and all of them had more status, more money, more power in the previous incarnations. Now they're still bullying people, including some of the same targets that they followed through the lives, and in some of the same ways. In some cases, they have the exact same names in this life as they did in others. In some cases, some of them look exactly the same. If you put photos of them together, people who've dated them are spooked because they can't tell the difference. You know how I know? Because I've done it. Somebody says, just to be clear, done what? Meaning I've put the past life photo of one of these criminals in front of one of their exes with a current photo of them. And the ex of this person could not tell the difference. Like, they thought it was the same person who had just done, maybe like in one of those old Western photos, you know, they take them in a sepia tone and they've got like a wanted poster, that kind of a thing. You dress up. No, that's not what it was. It was a past life, and they even have the same name, and they look the same too. And they've committed the same crimes, the same types of crimes, okay? So they wanted to have some kind of power and authority. They're still bullying the same way. But they've got less rank, they've got less resource. So it's like they're more desperate now to target people too because of that. But it's also why they have less, is because they didn't learn their lesson in the last life where they weren't supposed to be doing that. So they are struggling more in this life. And they felt like since they were struggling in this life, that was their justification to turn around and retarget people again in this life, the way that they had in the last life. But the reason that they are struggling more in this life, which did not give them a right or entitlement, but is giving them more of a consequence now, is because it was their karma. It was their karma to have less in this life because they were trying to take from other people or hurt other people in a previous one. Because they felt like they had less in this life than they felt like they deserved to take from other people. No, that's what got you less in this life. That's what got you into this predicament in the first place in a previous incarnation for some of you. Okay? And so they thought if they could skate the law or try to blame people for things or, I don't know, run away from the consequences of their actions at all, let alone for some time, they could continue to get what they wanted and forever just dodge that. But that was false. This is also an energy. These are karmics who wanted to orphan. You know what it's reminding me of? Demeter and Persephone, also Aphrodite. I'm hearing Adonis too. Also Troubled Waters by Alex Warren. I love how most of his songs are based on his love for his wife, he and his wife. One of them, Burning Down, is about how people that were supposed to be allies to him ended up being the same people who really were not. They were not good to him. They did not have his back. But I digress. A hair karmic female. She's really upset. I think this is so weird, but I just want you to understand where their heads are at. She really does do her own nails. It's not fair. It's like really weird. Like weird. It's not even the not fair part of it. It's more like she feels defeated. I guess she thought I was faking or something, and it's more than just the nails. It's just a general energy. Like if I'm going to lie about something as stupid as that, what else would I lie about? That kind of a thing. But you see, why would somebody think that I would lie about something like that? Oh, because that's all that they do. They're fake. So they were trying to project that on me, and I just proved it that I'm not. So okay. And now these people are being seen as untrustworthy across the board, because if you're going to lie and try to flip out over some dumb shit like that, why would anybody take you credibly over big stuff or listen to you or believe you on the big stuff? See, they don't. And this is what happens, is these karmics have just gotten caught in big and small lies, and now people see it for what it is. So they were also one from last night, plagiarizer energy, trying to dress up in very old school, like middle age, meaning Middle Ages, as in timeline era, geographically, historically speaking, not within a single human's timeline or life. Not as in a middle-aged man. I mean, like Arthurian kingdom, knights in shining armor, that kind of a middle-aged, medieval type of a thing. So between that and then Greco-Roman, this person tries to dress up as those kind of like village energies, or the knights and the swords, kings and queens and stuff like that, or Greek goddesses and such. Except for they tried to target a real one. They tried to isolate us, thinking that we were all alone. They also think that just because they don't see a bunch of comments in the comment section, that people aren't communicating behind the scenes, or spiritually speaking, telepathically speaking, or even just pulling strings for each other, calling protection for each other behind the scenes. It just depends on the situation and the person, but there are many situations, and either way, they misread and miscalculated. They always do. But this is because, again, they did not learn their lessons. And that's why they're not getting blessings. They're mad at ours, but it's because We know better than to do things like they did or deal with people like that. And they're too busy being people like that, trying to surround themselves with people like themselves and treating people like that to learn their lesson. We know not to treat people like that. We know that we don't want to be treated like that. We know not to tolerate people who treat others like that or us like that. And so again, what's there to learn? At least in that regard, we've already learned the lessons that they're still struggling over. We know better. And some of us don't have to get in trouble for treating people like shit, by the way, to know that that's not the right thing to do. Like, you don't have to scald your hand on a hot burner to realize that it's hot. Sometimes things are just common sense. So there's that. These people cannot steal your ideas or anything or pretend that they invented them. And also they can't really hate on your spiritual gifts because they either tried to copy those things for themselves, or all of the things that were being prophesized or said, in my case, they've been coming true. So they look just like fake gossiping, lying weirdos. Not the good kind. They don't know how to communicate in a healthy way. Yeah, we know that. They're lacking in abundance. Yeah, we know that too. It's because of how they wanted to try to cause harm and hurt. Something has been blocked for your protection. Yeah, beware of the attempted setup. Remember I said honey trap, honeypot, heard it. They see your true potential and are threatened by it. They will try to boss you around or bully and stalk and intimidate to make themselves feel superior. No. Trying hard to lower your self-esteem, it's not working. Also, again, they want you to mention them to gain clout, but that's in reverse too. Why? Because if it gets to the point where they're wanting attention so badly that they won't stop stalking and harassing, and it's causing a dangerous situation to the point where I have to speak up about it for the protection and well-being of others, which they will be in trouble for. They don't want their name in it at that point. They'd rather me just be quiet about it. At that point, they wish they hadn't done whatever they did that caused me to have to whistle blow, because they thought that they'd stay under the radar or wished or hoped they could. But yeah, see, God, no. That's why they can't really hate, because they wish that they were me. You cut them off and I'm just splitting the deck now. You cut them off and they're still watching. Your high energy pisses them off. Yeah, well, stay mad. Told you earlier, it's not my problem. Old frenemy still pissed. Personality disorder. They don't know how to be themselves. And I mentioned that, no, those boobs do not make your personality disorders look smaller or invisible. The winds will alert you when spell work is being done and time to take legal action. Well, that's exactly why I filed those reports today. But the reality is, those reports were already filed prior. It's just that they were updated and confirmed today, since these people just couldn't quit. They just couldn't help themselves. And they proved my point. Keep reminding them of how fantastic you are. Don't worry, I am. They don't have any energy left. Either the entities and dark forces they were trying to work with won't work with them, respect the targets, or are blocked and are afraid of them, or a combination. But either way, they're being cast out. You tried to avoid the drama, but they're pushing it, so stand up for yourself when you need to. Again, that's why I filed those reports. Trying to spend money on, they're spending money on spell work that never works. That's funny. And trying to block your money. Yeah, well, guess what? That's why they're taking losses. How's that Uno reverse taste? A bit like my toes in your teeth, eh? You're happy over your fuck-ups. It's in reverse because they know that they're the ones who fucked up. And also, that's why I've been calling this out. Right? They've been sending nasty, dark energy and trying to sit there and argue, and no. They tried to convince people that they were this and that, but I'm picking up that people don't believe them anymore. Spying on your family, it's in reverse. It's not secret. We saw that. Like I said, home address. stalking. Let's give it one more good shuffle. As far as this goes for the light workers, right? There are good vibe tribe, soul family members. That person, project, or idea is waiting. The world has your back. Go after that. So this is why. Here, I do this for you. I do this abstract. They'll disappear when stuff hits the fan for them. I hear when those warrants go out. See, they were trying to mock, but it was out of jealousy. They wouldn't be doing that if they weren't so obsessed. And they can't. They ruined their own name and reputation by trying to mess with mine. Why? Because people see the truth of the situation, getting all this love. Why? Because my character outshined their character assassination. My true character outshined their reputation attempted defamation. Attempted reputation defamation. Call it that. Yeah, see, purposely trying to trigger you to fuck with your day. And that's exactly what I told the police this morning when I documented it as it was happening. I know what they're doing. They're trying anyway. It didn't work. Yeah, see, trying to cause you paranoia. It didn't work though. And I don't let them. I'm not letting them feed off of my confidence. You can't. They're spooked. Told you. Gang stalking. And those were the reports that went out. I can tie them all together. It's criminal conspiracy. It's not even hard to figure out. They're all friends on freaking Facebook. Cheers. Keep getting a flash of this one, so we're going to give this a try. We are 11 minutes in, and I just saw 26 seconds as well. Ready to go hang out and recharge a little bit on that, on this. These people are weird. They'll clean their energy off. I'm picking up a karmic male trying to pray to God as if that's going to save him or fix whatever trouble he's in for targeting people. It's not. Black obsidian. Yeah, see, they don't have any protection. The evil eye they sent your way has backfired. Oop. See, it's like exes and ex-friends. But you're being protected or need to put some protection up. Like I said, I'm about to go hit the yoga mat. So they've been targeting air signs, which that's me over here. Or this is somebody that has air sign in their chart that's been doing targeting. I feel like in this case, they're targeting the air sign. And even if they're not doing spell work, they might not realize that sitting there throwing shade at people, trash talking people, even just jealously lurking on somebody's social media, that's the evil eye. What the reference is somebody with negative intent and negative energy sitting there and watching. It's referencing somebody watching somebody, and they have some kind of jealousy as a result, and that jealousy turns to negative intent or hatred, or basically like a black magic spell or a wish for harm and attack towards the person they're jealous of. But it starts with your observation, so go mind your damn business. That's why they're paranoid too, because it backfired. I told you about that in the beginning. I picked up crown chakra, third eye attacks. And that was one of the messages. Just go away. Stay away from people. We don't want anything to do with you. Karmics. Yeah. Generational curses you were trying to create or maintain. No, those have been broken. Also, you're in trouble for holding hostages. Those aren't yours. Yeah, you caused the problems in your life. You cause most of your problems or most of the bad things that happen to you. If you would have just shut up and let me abuse you, I wouldn't be in trouble. No, if you just had some self-control and not been abusive, you wouldn't be in trouble. Shut up. Delusional. Yeah, see? No. Honey trap backfired. Catch more bees with honey. No, bitch. In fact, where is she? Up here? You know. Apple cider vinegar works just fine for me. Make sure she's with the mother. With the mother. Speaking of it, let's do a shot of her. I just heard Diboja. I've never heard of that until there is that Leo, a divine masculine, help. Listen while I tattle on this fallen masculine. It's the Leo. When he stalks me on socials, a few things consistently pop up. He is an alcoholic, especially. Also, I know there are other drugs and such that have been a thing, but definitely alcohol, big time. And if nothing else, alcohol. Cryptocurrency, military stuff. And there's this, two things. A couple of homesteading YouTube accounts, like people who live off the land and grow their own stuff and then make all their own food, mostly from stuff that they get in their garden or like even just from locally sourced like farmers and stuff like that. And then also, I guess it was also Monopoly for a while, like Monopoly Go. Not so much that anymore. And I'm actually picking up that there may have been like a karmic or somebody around that was using that may have transferred through, but either way. Divine Masculine says, so what I'm hearing is that he won't stay out of your energy. Yes, this is the one that tries the sex magic and the love spells and stuff. No, I don't. No, just go away. Yeah, see, now Divine Masculine's irritated. You're making my woman cranky. Yes, and I can admit that. People are gross. Go away. He says, now I understand why it's been so long since you've had a hug. I wouldn't want to hug any of those people either. Exactly. It's better to wait for the right people. Yeah, sad. Divine. He says it's lonely. It's been hard. It's been a journey, but I'm grateful. So there was one more too. The homesteading one, and then the drinking, Diboja. Okay, so there's one. I think his name's like, what is it, Ryan? Maybe. And he does this thing where he leaves different stuff, whether it's like bubble gum or Jolly Ranchers or even like weird stuff in alcohol for a week or 2 weeks or until it dissolves, or he says until something interesting happens. And then he drinks it. He tries the straight, like he tries a spoonful of whatever he dissolved in it, if there's any of it left, like goo in the bottom. And then he tries the liquor that's been infused with whatever melted that he infused it with, Jolly Ranchers or whatever it was. But he says Diboja before taking the shot, and it, I believe, it's a foreign language. Hold on. Diboja. Polish cheer. Basically means God willing or good health. Ukrainian, Polish, Diboja. Also, some people say it, apparently, I don't know how accurate this is, it's Urban Dictionary. It says that when you have a drink and you hope it doesn't taste bad, but it may not be what that means. Anyway, either way, I slightly digress. That one pops up also. And I remember when we were, goodness, 18 to 20 or early 20s. He, like 21, I think he was 21 maybe. He would do that. He had a couple of really toxic friends that he hung around, and they would get this big handle of liquor, and then they would put stuff in it. Like, they'd make jungle juice, but they'd also do that thing. I think they used Jolly Ranchers or no, something like that. Jolly Ranchers. No, Sour Patch Kids. I remember. I was 18 or so. Sour Patch Kids. It was. That's what it was. And so it wouldn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me to know that he follows an account that does that when that's what he used to do. But when he follows me, he stalks me specifically, those accounts come up. And I'd never heard of that term until he started stalking me to the point where this Ryan guy's account started popping up, posting the drinking videos that this fallen masculine watches because he likes to do that. He gets inspiration from the recipes, I'm sure. But you see very different energy. He was like torn between the party lifestyle and then the other ones he's been following, and there are a few of them, are homesteading videos. Meaning like live off the land and like a wife and a husband and they just have happy kids and they take care of it. Okay. Somebody says, why not both? Because there was no line and he blurted. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just going to have a drink every now and again. It was no. I heard toxic lifestyle. It was a lifestyle. Very, very, very abrasive and toxic. Not good. God was calling him to go away from those things, but I don't want to talk about him anymore. I just want it to go away. I want these people to go away. That's that. Go. Just go. Just go. 7:22 here on the clock on the East Coast. Exactly. Just go. No more incubus, succubus, nothing. No more. Just go. Fallen masculine. We're done with that. No more. Social media posts, memes directed towards you. Like I said, I picked it up. When he stalks, there's a footprint that's left. And I know the very day he started watching me online because he asked for my username handle on Facebook years ago and I gave it to him. And that is the very first bit when that started popping up, all of it, because that's his content. Causing you to lose your appetite. You know what? I haven't eaten today, but actually I need to pretty quickly, and I'm actually pretty excited to do some cooking in a bit. I'm going to do, I think my laundry's ready to switch. I did a couple of loads of that today. I'm going to finish this half a load of dishes that's right here before I start some cooking, and then I'm going to make some juice. I'm going to dice this pineapple. I think I'm going to make a bit more. I might wait till tomorrow to cook the rest of that tofu. It's super yummy the way that I do it. And if I don't do that tonight, then I will definitely get some bread ready to make tomorrow. I'll set up the starter tonight. Do a quick bake tomorrow. They don't have any protection. See, an X is still pressed about what happened, but it's too late. It's done and over with. Yeah, the cords are being cut. There's no psychic connection here anymore. Right? These people have been trying to force some kind of energetic connection, at least because that's the way to get their, first of all, their rocks off, to get some kind of fuel for themselves, they thought, but also for them to try to get their foot back in people's lives, at least. But no, there's protection here. They're not allowed to do that. We said no, and no means no. I'm going to drop the mic right there. Look, neither realms are on their side. 124:22. Please remember to pray. Do no harm. Take no crap. And I will most certainly catch you on the next one. Blessings and namaste.